Welcome to Misano for the GT4 European Series. It is race one coming up, and it's going to be a very busy hour of racing. We're slightly delayed here because of an accident in an earlier race that necessitated barrier repairs, so the teams are about half an hour or so behind what was anticipated, but we are very shortly good to get cars on the formation lap. The grid is already formed, and with the mandatory pit stops between 25 and 35 minutes with 3 classes of racing, the scene is set. We've been to Paul Ricard, we've been to Monza, we've been to Spa. We have Zandvoort and Portimao still to come the other side of this weekend of action. And although there was a fear of rain earlier on, it is still very hot out there. The track temperature nearly 50 degrees, and the humidity is going up and up and up and up all the time. David Addison and Joe Osborne in the air conditioning then, looking down onto the grid, which is very busy indeed. Joe has just legged it in here from the other end of the paddock, and it is still very hot indeed. And you know, it's not exactly cooling down. Late afternoon, early evening, it's 10 to 6 local time here. It's still sweltering out there.
Yeah, 30 degrees ambient. The humidity's the real oppressive nature, and it's 74 degrees, 74% humidity, sorry, and that's going to be the problem. We've seen a bit of it creeping in GT2 cars running too warm. McLaren Trophy drivers talking about cockpit temperatures, so it's definitely going to be something we have to keep an eye on and consideration for some of these drivers in European GT4. As we see Ravi Ramid and Charlie Robertson there, we're going off pole position in the Pro-Am class.
Now, let's get to the grid. Ravi Ramid is with Bryn Lucas. Let's hear from the British driver.
Well, Ravi, it was a great result for you at Spa in the end, and that's kind of kick-started your season, which was stuttering a bit.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we changed manufacturer, and the car's been hit quite bad with BOP at the beginning of the season. We've settled into it now, so, you know, you're right, we're where we need to be. It's hot. The car performs quite well around here, so let's see what we can do.
You've moved from the traditional British circuits that we're used to these crazy European ones. What are you finding the transition like?
Interesting. It's full of kids, which is great. You know, the grids are bigger, they do get the railways out, and you don't know where you are. You know, we've never been here before, so, but I am really enjoying the challenge, and it's nice to be in the sun and doing something different, you know?
It certainly is, and a good position to start as well, so we wish you the very best.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks.
Ravi Ramid, who's come from British GT, and prior to that, the Ginetta GT Academy, but go back a good few years, and he was in the popular, for a short space of time, club level BMW 3 Series Championship for the very original BMW 3 Series that was still around, and that's where he made his name. He was a successful race driver in that, regular winner as well. Pole position to Benjamin Lariche and Robert Consigny, and Robert is with Nina Jade Paul.
Robert, it's been a tricky start to your season, but if you were able to get a win today, would it feel like a turning point?
Yes, for sure. The first part of the season is really bad. We have a lot of unlucky race. So now you have normally you have a lot of chance of this track. So I cross the finger for change the situation.
Absolutely. Well, you both won this race twice last year. What will be the key to converting and getting a win today?
Oh no! Yeah, for win today is no make a mistake. And don't make off track, and normally we win the race.
Well, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Audi, we started the day by talking about in the context of it being an older car, and yet both races' pole positions have gone the way of Audis. They're competitive in the classes as well, so curious. They go well round here, but despite the age, they've been fast. Maybe it's a good BOP, others will tell you, but they are certainly worth keeping an eye to, especially the car of Benjamin Lariche, because he has got to start scoring points. The championship leaders are 30 points ahead, and they are Enrico Federer and Cedric Fuchs, and Cedric Fuchs is on the grid with Bryn Lucas, ready for race one.
Great season for you at the moment. I know you're about to get in the car, Enrico, but let's go to Cedric first of all. Great start to the season. We had 3 wins so far, and it's going to be a tough ask from where you are on the grid, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, the race is long. We had to drive for 1 hour, so we try our best to get in the front and save as much points for the championship as we can.
Certainly, and what can your teammate do? Let's have a quick word with your teammate here, because you've got to start it all off. You've got to get it all going. I know you're about to get your lid on, but tell us, what's the approach out here?
Yeah, so we are not in the first row, like you see. We're in 4th row now. I think the goal for the race is just get maximum points, give Cedric a good car, and then, yeah, we see what the result is in the end.
You don't need to win every race to win the championship. You're in a very, very good position. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But to have 3 wins out of 6 races is pretty exceptional in GT4 European Series. That's what they've done. They won 1 at Paul Ricard, they won both at Monza, and then we've had 2 wins, don't forget, both at Spa for Thomas Rackel and Gabriele Piana, and then 1 at Paul Ricard for Lucas Cartel and Hudson Schwartz. Let's quickly get back to the grid. And Alex Papadopoulos, who shares with Luke Ibanez in the number 15 Mercedes-AMG. Luke Ibanez 3 times a winner here. Nina Jade Paul's down there.
Alex, starting on the front row here at this incredible circuit, and it feels like the win is very much within reach today.
It is very much within reach. Starting from the front row, you can't really ask for much. We have the reigning champs alongside, so we have a good history of battling with them here, so it'll be interesting coming down to the wire for sure.
Well, you're currently sitting P5 in the silver standing, so what would getting a win or just getting a good haul of points mean for your championship?
Obviously, we want to compete for a win every race, but I think this week in particular, we have a strong opportunity to get a couple podiums, maybe a win if all goes, to plan, and hopefully cut that gap down for the last 2 events of the season.
We'll go well later. Thanks for speaking with us.
Thank you so much.
Alex Papadopoulos, he's been a regular, hasn't he, the American driver on European GT4 grids for what, now 3 seasons, and has been victorious here in the past. And the car that he shares with Luke Ibanez then on the outside of the front row of the grid. Eric Evans with the Ford Mustang, one to watch, and he's with Bryn on the grid.
Well, Eric, you're starting way out of position. So far back we can't walk down there to your car, but tell us what happened.
Oh, we just had a little bit of a suspension issue in the qualifying, which hurt Nathan's lap and didn't allow me to go out there and qualify. So we're starting way out of position from where we want to be, obviously, but I think we have a strong race car, and I think it's going to be fun to watch.
Well, the grid's clearing. I can see the other Mustang is just over our shoulder here in a really favourable position, so we know the car has got pace. What can you realistically do? Is it just close your eyes and go for it?
Yeah, a little bit of close your eyes and go for it, but if I remember right, some BMW last year went from last to the point, so I think we're going to be aimed to do the same thing.
We wish you the very best. Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
It's going to be a monster effort, certainly from Eric Evans and Nathan Van Springel, who will go first in that car. That's the pole car then. It is Benjamin Lariche at the wheel of the number 1 team speed car Audi. To reflect their championship success, it's grown silver and gold on the livery this year, but it's still very identifiable as the team speed car R8. And with the Mercedes-AMG alongside, we are almost ready to go. There, Clement Seiler getting on board the Aston Martin. Clement returning to GT4 this season. Always quick, always worth watching.
Yeah, I was involved in quite a large accident, wasn't he, at Monza turn 1, and could see the car repaired, but drivers getting in really late. We're going to see the 1 minute board, I think, in around 45 seconds. So be it the heat, they don't want to be sat in these hot cars that will only get warmer over the next hour. Driver change will happen midway through the race. See into the cockpit of the Mercedes-AMG GT4. Lots of buttons on the steering wheel for the drivers to contend with.
There is the car that's going to start from 14th on the grid, Mies Houben and Lachlan Evanet, and it's going to be Mies Houben to go first, lining up alongside David Kuhlmann's Aston Martin. And that car, again, in the Silver Cup, got Silvers, Pro-Ams and Ams. Right, 1 minute board, engines fire, grid cleared, and then we are going to be in business. Pit window, 25 to 35 minutes. Doors close, and the drivers then get ready to go. Fans, if they haven't been here all day, starting to arrive for the GT3 night race that follows this. There's also a concert this evening, and back tomorrow for another full day of action at the Misano circuit, if they can tear themselves away from the beach and the attractions of Rimini and Riccioni and Cattolica. Right, safety car, lead car as it is about to accelerate away, and that means then that we can get the formation lap underway here at Misano. The 15-second board is shown. The race director, Joël Durval, will give the command for when that lead car is due away, and Benjamin Lariche and Luc Ibanez then will take the pack down to turn 1. Yanni Stevenheidens and Mackenzie Cresswell for Elite Motorsport on the second row of the grid. Yanni Stevenheidens, who's been here before, but only in French Formula 4 back in 2023. Charlie Robertson 5th on the grid, again for Elite, never having been here before, nor as co-driver Ravi Ramid. So the field makes its way down to turn 1. chance to get a bit of warmth into the Pirelli rubber, try and get the pressures up. You're not allowed to do endless installation laps. Once you've gone out of the pits, you have to go to the grid. If you come back into the pits, that's where you stay. So only one lap to the grid these days. Benjamin Lariche starts on pole position. Luc Ibanez with him at the front, and then it's Yanni Stevenheiden starting third, and fourth is Mackenzie Cresswell. Fifth on the grid is going to be Charlie Robertson alongside the quick Greg Gilbert, then Vinny Beltramelli's and Audi. Enrico Furderer, one to watch, championship leader, starting eighth ahead of Clement Seiler, and then Sam Paley in the best of the Mustangs. On the sixth row, Sergio Nicolai, and lining up alongside him is the Edvin Helston Porsche. The seventh row of the grid is David Kuhlmann and Mies Hauben, and they in turn are ahead of Tomasz Gedes and Stefano D'Este, the Italian, in the Lotus. Row 8 is where they are to be found. Row 9 is where you find Henrik Still and Joachim Bolting. Henrik Still starts with Victor Boveng alongside. Then it is Max Schiavone and Henry Josselin, ahead in turn of Lucas Cartel and then Maximus Meyer. Gustavo Xavier is next with Ruben Del Sart alongside. Thomas Rackel on the 13th row, double Spa winner. A lot of work to do for that car. And then it is going to be Romeo Lurs alongside. Davide Maloney shares with his dad Paolo. Bas Visser, new to GT2 this weekend, but returning to GT4 as well. Then you've got Jaden Kelly, good to have him on the grid with Daniel Drexel for company. Elon Gabe is alongside Betty Yildirim. Then it is Nathan van Springel alongside Christopher Brunhagen. Max Kronberg is on the last full row with Raymond Lou for company. And then after a problem where the car lost drive this morning, Nico Farah rounds out the grid. So that is a big field of cars ready to go racing. And the fans are ready, phones in hand. As ever, one of the pinch points, of course, early on in the lap is going to be that turn 1, 2 and 3 switchback, isn't it? Right, left and right. If they can all clear that, then they've got a chance.
Of getting to turns 4 and 5.
And having another pinch point, you mean, yes.
I'm just a little fearful. I can't explain why. I think the Eric Evans interview scares me slightly when he was talking about the BMW coming from the back to a point scoring and the lack of blinking from him. So the Academy Motorsport Mustang is going to be one to watch from the back.
I still think Thomas Rackel as well and Gabriele Piana, 13th row. They're starting 25th, winners of both races at Spa. So part of that may be the BOP that they have for this circuit. Part of it may have been traffic in qualifying. Part of it may just be that the BMs aren't very good this year, but they have traditionally gone well, the BMWs around here. It has also been a race in the past where it's been hard on tyres. Now we'll see whether that remains the case going into this evening race. It does feel a little bit cooler, but not by much, as the field now turns its way into the left-hander then of turn 16. They'll get ready to go very, very shortly as we get set there with the pole position car. Benjamin Lariche at the wheel of it, Luc Ibanez alongside. The lights on the gantry on red. They will change to green any second, and then we'll be in business. Race 1 of 2 in GT4 European Series. It is go! The car's still pouring out of the last corner. It's a bit untidy in the background, but a good getaway by Benjamin Lariche then to fend off Luc Ibanez as they dive down towards turn 1. Ibanez round the outside, and that's the inside line for turn 2, and he's got the race lead. Really nicely done, that move. Luc Ibanez then hits the front in the Mercedes, and Yanni Stevenheiden's in the Elite Motorsport McLaren all over the back of Lariche for second.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a poor start from the Audi, hasn't it? As Gilbert in the green Audi's trying to get round the outside of Robertson, getting 3 wide as we break into turns 4 and 5. It all looks clean thus far. The Elite Motorsport cars still running as a 3-car train, but really it's Ibanez in the Mercedes has had a mega start, and that car is getting away quite quickly.
And I'm tempting fate, I know, but it's been a pretty calm first lap without the dramas that you were fearing. I know we're not done yet, but...
Yeah, car 16 to me, the NM Racing car, I think, has stopped somewhere on turn 3.
There it is. So that's the one problem that we have, and that's going to be addressed, no doubt. So as the field comes then now down through the approach to turn 10, already I think Luc Ibanez getting away a little bit as they're further down. Porsche versus Mercedes battle. Safety car is on standby. Safety car is deployed, and that is to bunch everybody up while we can quickly get that Mercedes out of the way. So it's not been a massive incident as such, but there's one car stranded on the opening lap, and that's enough for the race director to call for the safety car, and there is number 16.
Yeah, some damage on the side, isn't it? And it's obviously not going to move. Safety car actually is parked up waiting for him at turn 14 on this opening lap. So they will already be under control of the safety car as they come into the final corner. Everyone seems to have slowed down well. No obvious reason why it's not moving. Maybe this could be the clue. Maybe damage on the 29 on the front right by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's got a puncture, hasn't it? So that car limping to the pit lane. That's the car of Henry Jocelyn, number 29. It's Toyota Supra. So safety car has scooped them all up, and all of this, of course, counts within the hour of the race.
Those two cars were on separate rows by one. So actually the 29, sorry, that Toyota was in front of the 16, but they were very close on the grid. So expect the contact to have happened between this Toyota and the back of that Mercedes.
Thank you, Inspector. Beautifully deduced. So that car of Henry Jocelyn into the pit lane. Thomas Rackel is in as well, number 12 BMW, and the Mercedes has got going. So all it needed was a bit of assistance, but it's dropped off the lead lap. So big disappointment for Thomas Rackel. I wonder whether that got caught up in it as well, because that was on the 13th row of the grid, wasn't it? So Rackel was in the neighbourhood, so to speak. Anyway, the Mercedes is limping back, keeping off the line. So shouldn't be long before we can get things back underway, but clearly it's a Mercedes with a problem. Right, let's see if we can piece it all together.
Mercedes actually far right at the top of this shot already. It was clean through the front. There's an amazing start from Ibanez. Sweeps around the outside, like you said, at the time of Constantine, and gets it sorted. We're now trying to spot that white and grey Mercedes just in shot, and Rackel was on his inside at turn 1, and it's going to kick off next time they turn right. And we might just have to wait for this camera shot to see if we can pick out who was at fault and what happened.
So it's about to happen at 2 now, isn't it? No, just cut away slightly. So it's all behind that pack. But yeah, 3 into 1 not going, I think, is the short answer.
Yeah, if we're going to spot it, it's spotting the first blue Borusan Automotive BMW, which is just at the apex of turn 2 now on the outside. There's a Supra cutting the inside, so trying to look for it now. And yeah, it's Rackel actually starts it off, doesn't he? He turns the Mercedes of Mayer around, and I think Jocelyn is fully innocent. This is the BMW of Maloney Hare. There you can see the contact. And for me, that Borusan Automotive car, which was looking to get on the front foot, did it too aggressively and was the aggressor there and turned around the 16 Mercedes, and the innocent Jocelyn was caught up with it. Safety car in this lap.
Indeed, so I'll go along with all of that. It was Rackel being a bit courageous, and Max Meyer, the innocent party, Jocelyn, the innocent party, went the wrong way, really. The accident sort of came into his path. But we're ready to go back racing then in GT4 Europe as the cars all carry on their windscreen. The GT4 European Series, green flag wave, so a brief interruption, and now we can properly go racing as over the line comes Ibanez ahead of Lariche, ahead of Stephen Hyde, Mercedes Mackenzie Cresswell 4th, Robertson 5th, Greg Gilbert 6th. Look down from the drone as they wriggle their way through that first switchback sequence of corners, and then they sprint their way up now towards turns 4 and 5, and Ibanez trying to rebuild the lead here.
Yeah, tyre pressures will still be low, and the Supra trying to get down the inside there. Should be able to claim the corner from the Willie Motorsport Audi R8. Looking clean in this mid part. The Mustang always looking so big, but very light on its feet and very good on its tyres. So we'll keep an eye on both our Ford Mustangs throughout this race.
A little bit wide in the background goes Sam Paley. Very wide goes one of the Astons. I think that's David Kuhlmann's car, and that's enabled Hendrik Still to get up and past him. Paley having a go at Beltramelli, couldn't do it, so Beltramelli gets up the inside of Forderer. And the championship leaders, Mercedes, being run a little bit wide as Lariche, the reigning champion, now starts to come back at Luc Ibanez for the race lead. Rackel is in the pits, Meyer is in the pits, Jocelyn is in the pits, possibly all done with damage. So we are looking at 54 minutes on the clock as the leaders come down that back straight section of the circuit, heading towards Curvoni, and Ibanez doing his level best to get away from the Audi, but he's not finding it easy.
Yeah, Robertson's got his work cut out here. That Audi very quick in a straight line, trying to send him around the outside the long way at turns 11, 12, 13, 14, the sequence of corners that goes on and ever tightening, and the battle still raging on here. Beltramelli, I think, could get this done on Forder if he can claim the inside into turn 15.
And he's on the inside, and he's just got himself ahead as they come through the corner. We're hearing from Bryn from the pits that there's lots of damage to different cars, and more damage here because that was Beltramelli cutting across the front of Forderer and being turned sideways, and Hendrik Still has to scatter in avoidance. Mayhem breaks out as they come off the corner. Thomas Rackel's broken toe link's done for him. Sam Paley has just gained a whole heap of places here coming down towards turn 1. And he just about avoids being tagged by the Aston that got oh so close. But yeah, Vinny Beltramelli across the front of Forderer, contact between the two. We'll get a replay, no doubt, in a moment, but that's really cost the Audi a whole heap of ground.
I honestly don't disagree with you on purpose, but for me that was on Forderer. Let's have a look. I think the Audi's got to turn in. Where's the Audi meant to go? I think Forderer is maybe more defending from the Mustang, and that, for me, I think is going to be a drive-through for the 111. Could be important for the championship.
And having turned the Audi around, just avoids secondary contact. In fairness, the Sam Paley Mustang lucky to not get involved. Beltramelli did a good job of saving that, in the sense that here he's able to drag it out the other side and just avoid the Supra there and wait for Hendrik Still to arrive on the scene, because here he is and he's got a virtually stationary Audi ahead of him, and Still just commits to the only thing he can do sensibly: get out of the way.
Be interesting to see who gets a track limit warning there, because they were both wide, weren't they?
Yeah.
And both forced there. There is force majeure. Teams normally have to go up and fight it, and they want to. Well, they will want to fight it because the track limit warnings and penalties are so prevalent here at Misano.
Right, so Ibanez and Lariche the top two. Yannis Stevenhuyden's in third, dropping back a little bit as here Ibanez takes Lariche with him, and those two getting away a little bit as they come now down to turn 16. Up towards the timing line they go, and as they break the beam once more, then Ibanez 0.6 of a second ahead. He's just done the fastest lap of the race. Charlie Robertson there is still ahead within Pro-Am, but he's got Greg Gilvert's Silver Cup Audi that he shares with Paul Petit right up behind him.
Interestingly now, because there's a big gap to Paley in that Mustang, I'm not sure Robertson will actually defend super hard from Gilvert now, because he can slot in there, keep his Pro-Am lead, and actually just worry about getting to the pit lane as quickly as he can, not worried about his position overall to get that car over to Ravi Ramid, who we spoke to on the grid. That's the focus, the class focus. You can see there in Pro-Am the green background on the timing tower versus the blue for the silver cars. At the moment, Paley unable to get away from Silane. He's having to keep looking in his mirror. Every time you look in the mirror, it's a slight distraction. It's a chance that you miss your braking point, miss a downshift, miss your turning point, and then suddenly it starts to unravel from there.
So there, the McLarens at play. Same team operating them, but it's every man for himself. Charlie Robertson looking for a way past Mackenzie Cresswell. Charlie racing here, surprisingly perhaps, for the first time. But he's up behind Mackenzie Cresswell, and that's giving Yannis Stevenhuyden the chance to get away now as he comes down that straight. They turn their way into Cavoni at turn 11, and the McLarens squabbling amongst themselves. They're coming under attack from Greg Gilvert as well. Remember, Robertson here, yes, he's running 5th overall, but he's leading his class, and that's important.
Yeah, I'm surprised Cresswell's defending so hard here. You can see how much time he's losing to Stevenhuyden's in the other elite motorsport, the yellow cars. We can see the 34 with another problem. We saw this in qualifying, didn't we? And this is Farran, by the looks of it, retiring the car once more.
Yeah, Nico Farran, who lost all power and all drive in Q1. Looks like he's out of the race as the leaders go by. Ibanez and Lariche, half a second. Lariche now does the fastest lap of the race. So Yannis Stevenhuyden still in third, Cresswell 4th, Robertson 5th, Gilvert in 6th. And the Elite Motorsport McLarens 3rd, 4th and 5th right now. The team made its name in Ginetta Juniors. It's very good in single-seaters. It first came here in 2023. Podium the year after, and of course it's been a championship winning team in the GT4 European Series. Eddie Ives has built quite a powerhouse in a very short space of time.
Yeah, he's done a very good job across all the series. Must be a huge effort to look after all the different cars. I think 6 different sorts of cars, the single-seaters, Ginettas, Ferrari GT3 as well. So
yeah.
A huge effort to run cars at the top level, and then you think about running 6 different types. That is a mammoth task.
Yeah, they ran in an International GT Open, as you say, with that GT3 Ferrari. There's the AM Cup leading Porsche in the hands of Max Kronberg, the reigning champion. Good battles elsewhere as well, you can see there, because the Toyota of Romeo Lures just falling back 1 spot. Just busy battling with Lucas Cartel, number 87, as the pack comes down that straight towards the kink at Cavoni, turn 11.
Yeah, you can see Diaste in the Lotus as well, looking to the inside. He wants to get involved, Sharoni as well. There, the Lotus is running okay in the mid-pack at the moment. They look fast at qualifying at the start of the run, but then kind of tailed off. And tailing off is actually Stevenhuyden's now, isn't it? The McLaren's all taking it in turns to go through a bit of a bad patch pace-wise. Robson first, he's now steadied the ship. Then it was Cresswell, and now it seems to be Stevenhuyden's. That's allowed the front 2 to really jump away.
And also Greg Gilvert stuck behind Charlie Robertson. Behind them, you've got Sam Paley 7th. Clement Seiler is behind him in the Aston in 8th place. 9th is Edwin Helsin, the best of the Porsches. And then 10th is the Supra of Mies Houben.
Both Astons there really looking for clean air. I worry for their radiator temps, water temps, oil temps. I've driven that car. The air conditioning system in that car is phenomenal. It's too powerful. You can't run it on full. It's too cold. So the driver might be running cold. I just wonder there potentially the car's having to look for clean air to try and keep everything nice and cool.
Ibanez still clearing the race lead if clear constitutes 0.396 of a second, but he's defending from Benjamin Lariche, and there's a drive-through penalty coming for Enrico Ferderer for causing a collision at turn 16. So you called it right, and the stewards go with that. Ferderer being given the penalty, a drive-through. It's a long drive-through here.
Yeah, 46 seconds, 620 metres at 50 kilometres an hour. As this battle we looked at a lap ago at this point rages on. D'Este running wide. Looked like maybe Cartel was just easing out there. It's going to be a Lotus battle as they break into turn 10.
Yeah, the two Lotuses we don't often see squabbling amongst themselves, but we've got them there right now. Stefano D'Este and then Massimiliano Schiavone in the sister car. He, in turn, is looking for a way past Elon Gabai's Porsche. The Israeli driver coming down towards us on the inside line there, the red and white and black car, but on the outside line is Schiavone, and the Porsche will clear him.
Yeah, nice easy move. Porsche with good straight line speed. Not something we always say about that Cayman. The Cayman going to be replaced by a 911 for GT4 going forwards. We've also got Maserati joining the party as well with a new GT4 launched here this weekend. So GT4 ever great gaining traction. We were up to 11 manufacturers, weren't we, at Spa, with Alpine joining. We're still at 10 here at Misano. So GT4 continuing to go through a real nice, strong patch of performance. We go on board with that BMW, the tiny Lotus in front. And again, this is a great illustration. Lotus seems to struggle in the corner, but as a straight line performance whips over to the left for this braking into turn 1, and then different curb usage allowed as well. The BMW normally the best at taking curbs. That slightly higher centre of gravity, softer suspension allows the car to run it. You see the Lotus hitting the curb there at 3, really quite darty. The drivers don't like that sort of feeling. It can feel like the car's just going to spit you around. And we're getting very close to a bit of rubbing there from David Maloney, the San Marino driver. And this will be his local track. He'll want to go well in front of all his friends and family. And that will be a track limit for the Lotus as well of Schiavone.
And they're going to add up as Meloni Jr., Davide Meloni, then comes now down towards the braking zone. Drops it down through the gears, turns the car out the corner, power on. And all of that is out of turn 8 as the field goes then with this being lap 8, and the gap between the top two crept up slightly last time. Ibanez, who's done the best lap of the race, trying to get away from Lariche. The incident between Rackle and Meyer is going to be looked at after the race, incidentally, but it's kind of irrelevant for the result because they're both out, but it might give the number 12 BMW a grid drop maybe if found guilty of causing the incident. There is Charlie Robertson, who is still clear within the Pro-Am contest. The leaders go by 15 minutes done pretty much, and the margin between them is 0.376 of a second. Just as Ibanez can't get away, Lariche isn't falling away.
No, Paley closing the gap as well. He's really starting to reel those group of cars in front, so I think we could see the Mustang on the back of that McLaren-Audi battle. And what is the Audi of Lariche going to do? Does he really want to make the move? Is he going to try and force Ibanez into a mistake? Even just forcing him in wide and using his track limit warnings up will be a very important factor as we get towards the end of this race.
So Ibanez, the race leader, here he comes, and the Mercedes-AMG turning its way there now out of turn 8, still being chased hard by Benjamin Lariche. Last time around it was 0.3 of a second the gap. Lariche knowing that he may not have the pace to get past, but if he can sit tight, then Consani versus Papadopoulos in the second stint is going to be interesting. Consani, you could argue, would be the faster of the two, but it'll be an interesting battle. And are we about to have a change amongst the McLarens, because pulling out of the draft was Mackenzie Cresswell, but he's not actually close enough to make that move. And Robertson did the same thing, and he's not really close enough to have a go either. So no change in the order.
Yeah, again, just trying to get fresh air for those McLarens. The McLaren of Jaden Kelly up to 20 seconds, so he's had a good start to the race. He was on the 15th row, so he's kept the Race Lab car clean. in this car as a one-off at the moment with the Cronin brother that has remained. So it's hopefully for Race Lab they can get a bit more performance out of that car.
Jaden Kelly, last year's McLaren Trophy Europe champion. Nathan Van Springel's Mustangs up to 24th. The car he shares with Eric Evans. The McLarens go through 3rd, 4th and 5th. We're getting closer, aren't we, to the pit window opening as well. So this 1 hour race, there's number 78 McLaren, Mackenzie Cresswell, who is 4th in silver, 4th overall. And Greg Gilbert staying in the mix before he gives that car over to Paul Petit for the second stint as the field comes then out of turn 5 in the context of the race leaders. So Charlie Robertson well clear as far as Edwin Helston is concerned, and then Hendrick still 2nd and 3rd within that Pro-Am fight. And the leading Am is Max Kronberg, still in 29th place overall. Misano, a regular haunt for the GT4 European Series, the 10th year of GT4 European Series in the format we now know, these 2 1-hour races and the 3 classes as we have it as the structure. And that drive-through for 111 will throw it a long, long, long way down the order. So not great news for the championship leaders. Enrico Federer and Cedric Fuchs now in 33rd place.
Yeah, the penalty hurts you there. The 2 Porsche running wide out of turn 8 seems to have got back up to speed as the Toyota battle continues to rage. And just trying to read this second phase now of the race. Who's got the pace? I do feel like Ibanez is controlling this nicely, and then everyone else is so close. Everyone really in the mid-42s the last time by. Everyone in the top 10, their lap times separated by less than 0.2 of a second, and that's why we're seeing the gaps remain so close as we look at this Porsche of Hendrick. Still did well to avoid the incident, didn't he, at this corner earlier on in the race. And at the moment he's having a nice clean race as our lead battle just has this ebb and flow, 10th or 2 lap after lap. We're getting closer to the pit window as well, aren't we? We're getting, what are we, 6 minutes and 20 seconds away now from cars being out of box.
That's right. Ibanez versus Lariche then for the race lead. Stephen Hayden's 3rd, Cresswell 4th, Robertson 5th, Gilbert 6th, Sam Paley in 7th in Mustang number 68. And that's the car that he will give to Michael Haverans. I still wonder whether Lariche is genuinely unable to find a way past or just content to sit there and tee this up for the second stint, because he's always had the pace to live with the Mercedes. What we've not really seen is him darting around in the mirrors and trying here and applying pressure there.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He's the only car in the top 10 with 0 track limit warnings. So again, we've touched on it. Why is that important? Because at the end of the race, suddenly the teammate can start to use them up, let the car run wide on purpose and find time, use them properly rather than it being a mistake and not gaining anything from it. And that's where the smart drivers will think of it as a team game, not an individual sport. You've got 2 drivers, you've got a huge amount of support behind you, a race engineer, data engineer, mechanics, truck driver, the tyre guy. All of this needs to work together to get the result, and I think at the moment that's Lariche's strategy to get the race win.
So there the field turning again up to turn 16, and as they do so, the McLarens now having their own one-make race pretty much, because you can see how over the last handful of laps they've dropped away, haven't they, steadily from Lariche in 2nd place. So we've done just under 20 minutes when they cross the line. We've now done 20 minutes as they get to turn 1. And in 5 minutes' time, therefore, the pit window can open. Just coming towards us there was the 310 Audi of Sergio Nicolai in 11th place. The Romanian team's car. That is Stefano Dastay's Lotus. 18th he runs at the moment. And Dastay, in turn, having a go at Romeo Lure's Toyota Supra. The sister car at the inside of the Porsche, that's Schiavone against Alon Gavin. He's gone through, nicely done. And now Davide Meloni tries to buy into it as well in the BMW. Couldn't quite make the inside work for him. Well, can he?
Yeah, top rating. We've seen these battles rage on and trade places. This is going to get tight through 6. Hard to run side by side. Maloney sends it wide. It's now still going to be on the outside. And it's actually Jaden Kelly that's potentially going to benefit from this. Is it going to go 3 wide as they hit the brakes for 8?
the McLaren, you can hardly see the other side of the BMW, can you? The sort of touring car shape towering over the GT shapes. The other BMW there, the surviving Borusan car, is coming back into the mix as well. And Bata Yildirim, that's the bright blue car. And there's another BMW, Gustavo Xavier's car, in the queue as well. So real mix here. BMW and Porsche like a rolling start, side by side up to turn 10. And Jaden Kelly getting used to a GT4 car, which is a bit slower than McLaren Trophy Europe pace. Adapting pretty well to this and involved in the battle.
Yeah, elbows out. It's been clean so far. They ran side by side for 4 or 5 corners, didn't they, this BMW and Porsche combo? And they look like they want more of it. Kelly's having to defend now. The lack of straight line speed of that McLaren seems to be hurting. Is he going to be able to get across the front of the BMW in time? As we can see, D'Aste has gone wide. He's now gone behind his teammate. Was that just an innocent spin, or was there a problem for that car?
I think he's got damage because he's not in a hurry to rejoin, is he, competitively? So I think there's a problem. Yeah, limps across the grass. D'Aste's heading for the pit lane, but whether he's got damage or it's mechanical, it's hard to gauge off that. There's number 61, Nathan Van Springel, still hunting the pack. Elon Gavai goes way wide, coming off 16.
Lost a load of time, though, to Maloney, hasn't he, somewhere in Sector 3, because they were together, cars darting around, trying to catch each other. Jaden Kelly, I think, just got done down the inside from the Mustang. That Mustang's coming forward as well at a good rate. This is getting tasty. The cars are all at similar pace as the BMW. Suddenly had a huge run on the Mustang. The Mustang must have had to have a big lift there not to run wide out of turn 3, one of the track limit hotspots.
And that's Bata Yildirim battering his way almost up the inside of Elon Gavai, but the Porsche prevails as they come out of turn 6. Bata Yildirim in the surviving Borusan automotive car. In the background, you've got the pack that involves Elon Gavai, Jaden Kelly and Nathan Van Springel still hunting the traffic, and Van Springel getting ever closer then to the traffic ahead. Let's have a look at this. The BMW up the inside. That was a little brush. Debris flies, but play on.
Yeah, he's probably lost his dive planes, the aerodynamic flicks on the front corner. There's definitely one missing. There's normally 2 on that BMW, so it can start to get a bit more understeer now that BMW's not producing the downforce it was designed to. And this has really let Maloney get away, as we see a BMW on the grass there, trying to get back on now. And this battle rages on. Doesn't matter where you are on the grid. Xavier there trying to get up to 23rd place.
Yeah, that was the Gustavo Xavier BMW on the grass, and the Mustang charging on. Nathan Van Springel still trying to gain places wherever possible, and on a long, fast section like that, use all of the horses that Mustang has got. So they come up towards the end of the lap, and the pit window is about a minute and change away from opening. So at the end of this next lap, people will, if they so desire, if it fits with their plan, be able to come into the pit lane. But as ever, if you've got your faster driver in, keep him in.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're in clear air, stay out. The undercut, not particularly strong in GT4 because you don't change tyre. In GT3, it's huge because you get the new tyre hit on that outlap of the second stint. Here in GT4, less prevalent. So, like you said, David, it's really about who's the stronger driver. Are you in clear air? I would expect Ibanez to stay out for as long as possible, to be honest. He can probably squeeze 4 laps in. Everybody can box this lap. Sometimes we see the window open sort of in the split part of the grid, but this time in this race, everyone's going to be able to box. Who's going to take it? I'm not sure anyone in the top 4 or 5 will. Maybe Gilbert in the 6th place Audi could be our first driver in, is my prediction at the moment.
So we will have done 14 laps. Way out wide goes Paul Petit, and that throws away very nearly 6th place. Sorry, Greg Gilbert, I should say. Paul Petit to do the second stint. So the pit window is now open, but Greg Gilbert way, way wide. Diving for the pit lane, Mackenzie Cresswell. Elite probably doesn't want more than 1 car in on a given lap. They don't want them stacking, do they?
Yeah, it's still easy pit stop here. No tyres, no fuel, so it's all just done to a minimum time. But yeah, maybe Elite just don't want to box themselves in. And then it is all down to how quick the teammate is. And Charlie Hart, who's going to take over from Cresswell, is rapid. They're probably the best even pairing, both very, very fast. Nothing to choose between them.
But if you just bring 1 car in at a time, you've got all the space available. You're not tripping over other mechanics from the other car. You're not having to squeeze between 2 cars. It just gives you that slightly more comfortable working environment, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's true, very true. And I love the marginal gains in motorsport. You see how close they stop to the fast lane, so they're doing less distance. They're not going all the way into the box because they don't need to, just because there's a driver change. They have stopped a few millimetres into the box where they need to, and then they don't have to drive as far to get in or out.
Right, so there's the lead car, Luc Ibanez, who all of a sudden has cleared off from 310s, 310s, 310s. We're looking at 1.9 seconds now over Benjamin Lariche. So Luc Ibanez now is starting to flex his muscles a little bit. 3 times he's been a winner around this Misano circuit. Then Yanni Stevenhuyden's third, Robertson is fourth, Greg Gilbert hanging on to his 5th place ahead of Sam Paley, but only just. And then Clement Seiler in 7th, as there is Charlie Hart now ready to join in. 78 McLaren back into the race.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very close. If the leader doesn't box, then Charlie Hart is going to be quite close to him. The minimum pit stop time, 95 seconds, 1 minute 35. A lap time, 1:42. So if you're more than 7 seconds behind that car you're battling, you're going to be seeing them next time by. And at the moment, this has worked out well for Elite, because he's going to go into a huge amount of space, Charlie Hart, and he will be able to go. But I do think we're going to start seeing some cars that have boxed starting to intermingle with cars going long in this first stint.
So there is Ibanez. He is quicker than Papadopoulos, so he will stay out, one would imagine, for as long as possible. It's not like they have to bring him in to get out of traffic, because he's away in the race lead, and only when people start to rejoin the race after pit stops could they be back markers, could they get in the way, and that's when they need to think about when to bring him in. There's Lariche, still second, and in turn well clear of the elite McLarens behind.
Yeah, sure enough. I think Charlie Hart's been compromised by, it's going to be Hudson Swartz leaving the pit lane, so we're going to see the elite cars that have stayed out starting to lose time to cars out of position, and that's what I'm talking about. So now Robertson has lost contact with the back of the elite car, because the Toyota there has done its pit stop, so there's no blue flags at this point either. So Robertson, if he wants to overtake, has to get it done on merit.
More pit stops cycle through. Number 5 is Ruben Delsart to morph into James Sherrington then, the quick Brit. Ruben Delsart, whose career also started in the UK in Ginetta Junior Racing. James Sherrington is in, does the belts tighter. Ruben Delsart helping him to do all of that rather than needing another crew member. And now we have got 1 or 2 back markers. You talked about Hudson Schwartz, who's blended in after the earlier stop. So the field wriggling their way up through 14 and 15. And we're not far off halfway either, as there is number 87 then, the car that Hudson Schwartz has taken over from Lucas Cartel. Winners at Paul Ricard. Over the timing line goes Yanni Stevenhuyden's, but those McLarens now just starting to drop away. Charlie Robertson gets through the traffic as well as he drops down to turn 1, and Sam Paley in the Mustang is in the pits out of that leading group.
Yeah, so Robertson's done well there. Hudson Swartz, I thought, was very fair. Rolled over to the left to show Charlie who was going to let him by, and Charlie had to stay behind him to keep the tow. So Hudson Swartz was trying to move over more and more to make it obvious, but the lack of straight line performance meant Robertson had to stay in the tow as long as he could.
Charlie Robertson may not have raced here before, but you wouldn't think it, would you, given the pace that he's evinced all day. And in 4th overall, but looking for a class win, Charlie Robertson, as they again accelerate their way down that back straight.
Yeah, we're hearing from the pit lane, D'Aste had a drive shaft issue by the sounds of it,
right.
Big vibration, so they've had to retire that car, unfortunately.
Real shame, because when it goes well, that car. They are a bit fragile, but they're quick. So Lotus is a good sports car brand, good Formula 1 brand, of course, from the 60s through to effectively the mid-80s. But it's good to have them back on GT4 grids, and that car debuted in Macau a couple of years ago where they got a 1-2. So here, Cayman battle, different laps though. Number 2 is the car rejoining after its stop of Leon van Verseveld.
We talked about car run wide earlier, didn't we? Sorry, David. That's under investigation. So car 2, the Porsche, and car 70 under investigation for that, which is the BMW of Draxler.
So the race leader goes over the timing line. Another lap done by Ibanez, and Lariche likewise, not for coming in yet, at least. They've got another 2 laps, maybe 3 in the window. Charlie Robertson, though, has pitted now to give way to Ravi Ramyeed, which pretty much gives Ravi half the race, and if you like, as the bill payer, keep the customer happy.
Yeah, surprised though. The Pro-Am cars normally go as long as they can. Ravi Ramyeed, one of the best bronzes out there, but there'll still be a lap time delta between Charlie and himself. But they've obviously decided again, Elite, to try to just box 1 car at a time. Charlie getting out, Ravi Ramyeed getting in. Driver change going on. 5 belts to put on. The central buckle comes up from the crotch belt, and you've got 2 lap belts, 2 shoulder belts, and then you've got the window net radio and potentially a drink system to go in as well. So plenty of work for the driver to do who's finished his stint.
Indeed so. You've also just seen number 8 Audi in. That's Paul Petit now taking over. But this is Charlie Hart, so he's in for Mackenzie Cresswell. Speed car getting Paul Petit settled. Ravi Ramid is good to go in 71 McLaren, so the go board will be moved in a moment. You can see the car now blasts away. And with 77 expected in, Yanni Stephen Heidens will be next. Is Charlie Hart then. He comes across the line now, and as he does so, that car is going to be, after that round of pit stops, 16th, but it's all going to shuffle for as long as everybody else has to cycle through theirs. There is the Ramyed McLaren coming back out. And that stays ahead significantly of Paul Petit.
Yeah, Charlie Hart just flashed through, so everyone's stuck here, and you can see the gaps maybe is just favoured, but it's actually favoured this Mustang the most, hasn't it? That seems to be the gap that's evaporated the most, and now suddenly Paul Petit has to look straight in his mirrors on his outlap.
Mikael Haverans is the driver behind him as they come out of 6. So that Mustang then looking for a way by. The Audi just about hanging on to position, but the Ford Mustang working out where it might be able to make a move. This is Yanni Stephen Heidens in the pits. So that car notionally drops away while others that haven't pitted gain ground for now, but then it'll buy back places when they make their stops.
So Elite definitely have just wanted to stop a car a lap, haven't they? I don't know if that's conscious or by luck, but giving themselves lots of space, as everyone is going to have done their pit stop soon. So that's why we see Kasani waiting for Lariche to box.
And equally, they've done the same thing, haven't they, at Speed Car? They brought the cars in on different laps. They've got 8 through, and now they've all had a go at a pit stop. They know what they're doing. Now they can concentrate on the lead car.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone that hasn't boxed is going to have to box this lap. There's only 8 cars remaining, so it's actually not going to be the busiest pit lane. Sometimes we see a flurry of stops, but importantly, it's the top 2 cars all need to pit this time by.
So that's your race leader, Luc Ibanez, then coming out of turn 16. And as he does so, the Mercedes-AMG comes for the pit lane to give Alex Papadopoulos driving duties now. That's with 26.5 minutes on the clock pretty much. Gets to the slow line, down to the regulation pit lane speed of 50 kilometres an hour, and it must feel like a very long drive to the team. It must feel like an even longer drive out the pit lane. Yeah, sometimes depends how much you've got to do. You're allowed to loosen your belts once you get into pit lane, but you've got to keep one hand on the wheel at all times. That car control away from the yellow lollipop was annoying. It was almost beckoning Ibanez, but that must have been for Lariche behind. Ibanez gets out, Papadopoulos gets in, talking to him, saying the car's perfect, keep the track limits to a minimum. 2 for Ibanez. It's a pretty clean stint, and only 0 for Lariche there. It's a really good going there not to do one single track limit in over 30 minutes of driving. Chris Solkeld has been given a drive-through penalty for causing a collision. Well, he didn't. It was the car when driven by Daniel Drexel, but Chris Solkeld, double winner this year in Pro-Am behind the wheel now, will have to serve that penalty. Yeah. That was the one you were talking about with number 2 Porsche. Yeah, and we saw the Porsche running wide, so it must have been down the inside of 8 and forced him out and off. Big tyre pressure bleed going on, and the team instructing there won't have time. They'll be told to get off, and that's what's happening. Cars are released. Looks like it's a clean pit stop for NM, and the car controller saying it's clear, but this gap for me has grown quite significantly in favour of this Mercedes. Yeah, it looks as though Constantine was just a bit slow away as well, wasn't it there? So now you can see the Mercedes going down the pit lane. You can see also where the McLaren is on track. There is Charlie Hart, who was 4th before the stops. We also need the elite stops to cycle out, and 78's got ahead of 77, hasn't it? So you've now got Hart ahead of the car of Harry Reynolds, so they've switched around. We've got orange from lemon, not lemon from orange, and Alex Papadopoulos is still ahead of Robert Consigny, and that's the gap, and it is a bigger one. Yeah, 1.4 seconds quicker in the pits for the NM Racing Mercedes. They were under their minimum pit stop time, but there is a second joker, and they used 3/10 of that, and the speed car Audi was 1.1 over minimum, so that's where the gap has grown from. I don't know whether these are 2 separate incidents or whether it's a penalty that's been changed, but having told you that Daniel Drexel and Chris Solkeld's car was given a drive-through, it's also been given a 10-second penalty for causing a collision at the same corner. So it might be that they've had another think, or it could be a double whammy for them. Right, Luke Ibanez has given this leading car over. That gives him the chance to talk to Nina J. Paul.
Jörg, what a mega stint from you. That overtake at the start was something special as well.
Yeah, we made a great start. We came into the P1 in the second turn, and then our first T1 sector was a mega, and then I get the space. Then we have the safety car, but then before the safety car, after the safety car, with a mega team with a great pace, with respect with Larish, was mega, and then finally 5 laps I can make a good gap for my teammates. Let's try to get the victory now.
Yeah, fingers crossed. The win is within your hands.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see if the car will be safe, everything, no track limits and no safety cars, and then it's easy.
Absolutely, a lot of variables. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, Luke Ibanez conscious that a safety car would absolutely scupper them. Papadopoulos needs to, with respect to him, preserve that lead because Luke's the quicker of the two. We've seen that before. But for second and third, the big winner on the stops looks like being Charlie Hart, doesn't it? And he's not only gained a place over the other there, yellow McLaren out of the elite stable, but he's a bit closer to the #1 Audi.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that was the undercut that worked for them in terms of just dropping him into space so they were able to push on. Battle raging here between the Porsche, the Audi and the BMW. 3 very different cars and 2 different classes separating them as well.
That's Tudorache going through on the back of the Porsche. So 310 is the Audi, and he in turn is under attack, look, from Joachim Walder. It's Daniel Nilsson in the Porsche that's ahead of them. So that is Paul Petit. Behind Paul Petit is Michael Haverantz, who's fallen back a little bit. There's Ravi Ramid. He's also been shuffled back in the queue, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I wonder if the pit stop was okay there, just checking the times of it. But he's in pretty good space, and he will just want to focus his attention on getting some nice, clean laps and keeping that Pro-Am lead over the Porsche of Nilsson, who's 2 places further back than him. As you see the Pro-Am Cup leaders there in their class, and it's the McLaren of Ramid from the Porsche Nilsson, then from Joachim Walder in the BMW.
Indeed so, and Joachim Walder then looking for Pro-Am points, looking for another win. They've had 2 of them, he and Victor Boveng already this season. There's Ravi Ramid. Oh, and a big drama. That's the Tim Horrell Porsche. I was going to say locking up, but it looked rather more serious than that. But Tim Horrell doesn't look like he's going to rejoin, and he's going to park that, is he? It looks a bit smoky when he came into shot, more than just tyre smoke. But part of the issue here is not only going to be to remove the car, but bear in mind that Tim Horrell is a wheelchair user, so it's going to be a slightly different operation of moving the car, getting him out of the car, than it would be for other people.
Yeah, my initial feeling was an ABS failure as the front left that was locked up, and maybe just power cycling it to see if he can get that to come back up, or it was something else. It's something else for the 27 Porsche, who's found himself way off down at turn 14.
Yeah, it has indeed. Daniel Nilsson. So all of a sudden, 2 Caymans in strife, one in the gravel. And let's see whether or not this is going to prompt another safety car, which would ruin it for Luke Ibanez, but it's looking that way, isn't it? Tudorache is on the offensive and goes through, and then Joachim Walder makes contact, but I would say he was virtually passed.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Joachim Walder was down the inside, and for once, David, we do agree. And I just don't think Nilsson had seen him and had seen the Audi of Tudorache come forward and then just turned in. But for me, Joachim Walder was a good move, and for arguably the fastest bronze-graded Swedish driver in GT racing, I think Joachim Walder will not hear any more from race control on that.
Meanwhile, Ravi Ramid here is still leading within Pro-Am, bearing in mind that Walder is the man chasing him. But he's about to lose out, I suspect, because there is Pedro Garcia, and Garcia, who is in silver, will be able to go through, and Lachlan Evernet's behind in the Toyota, and Evernet goes for the inside, couldn't do it there, but he's about to make that move. And in fairness, Ramid knows which battle he needs to fight, and it's not this.
Yeah, exactly. So he's just trying to minimise time loss when the faster pro-graded drivers come past him, and the easiest way to do that in the McLaren is just wait for the next straight, and that Toyota should blast past. So I expect Ramid to do the last corner as normal, and then he'll just ease over to the left, and I think the Supra will probably claim the inside into turn 1, and that seems to be the choreography dance that's going ahead.
So this is Lachlan Evernet about to go through under braking down into turn 1. We've still got these yellow flags. Now we've got green flags.
We've lost the one car, have we not? The Audi, the number one, has suddenly dropped down the order. Could be a transponder issue, but our second place car has suddenly disappeared. And I believe he's in pit lane.
He is indeed. So Consonny is in the pits. I wonder whether it's a puncture, because that has often been the case at Misano. So we'll try and keep an eye. The green flags show again, so those Porsches that were in trouble are now in a safer place, so no need to go safety car once again. The sigh of relief from Luc Ibanez is almost deafening, and Robert Consonny is still in the pit lane, so number one is about to drop off the lead lap.
Wow, from a comfortable second, as we now see aboard. It's not a puncture by the looks of it.
It's an empty car, isn't it, that? What a season. What a season. People talk about champions' luck, which can be good when you're winning and dreadful the year after, but honestly, these two just cannot catch a break, can they?
You can see the frustration there. He's got out the car. He's not waiting to see if that can be fixed, and hopefully he doesn't get a weapon out of that bag, and puts the cap on, and he looks at what was looking like, for me, a very easy podium.
I can't see any damage, so I'm assuming mechanical, but Bryn might well be able to show some light on this. The leader comes through slowly. Bryn?
Pit lane, Robert just getting out of the car, and a deep conversation with the team, as you can see. Robert, what can you tell us about the car? What just happened? Obviously, clearly frustrated.
You have the ABS failure. The ABS is out, so you block the brake every corner, and now the front tire is like cube. So it's finished for us.
Well, I've just found out that number 15 has also just retired as well. Doesn't help you in the race, but thoughts on 15 being retired as well?
Yeah, but for us, the championship is finished. It's too difficult. The gap with the first one is. You need to score a maximum point on this race, and you don't score. Every time when you have in position to score a maximum point, the life fuck the car.
I apologise for the language there, but thanks for talking to us. Thanks there, Robert.
Right, Robert Consonny out. Alex Papadopoulos, the race leader, out as well. So the top two gone within a lap of each other. And Alex Papadopoulos, also by the look of it, with a mechanical failure. Just before we went to the pits, both Joe and I looked at each other thinking, is that Mercedes going slowly? Almost like a full course yellow had been called. We were looking to see messages on the screen that weren't there. But it is another car with a mechanical woe. And Alex Papadopoulos trudges away.
It's the heat, I'm telling you. We said at the start, it is brutal on these cars. They are race cars, they're thoroughbreds, they are designed to be fast, and this is where we saw it live. It just looks sluggish, didn't it? Has it completely powered off? The Luma rank in the windscreen normally displays the driver ID, and that is completely off. I can't see any power whatsoever in that car. It has had a full electrical shutdown, and you can see how distraught he is. Someone that won't be distraught. Charlie Hart takes the lead.
Absolutely. So this race now is coming to elite. Charlie Hart was fourth on the grid. This is the fight for second place. Harry Reynolds ahead of Paul Petit. And it's up to Paul now to uphold Team Speed Car honour in the Audi. So second and third they run. What have we got on the clock? Still 16 minutes, so there's a lot that can yet happen. And then in fourth place, you've got Michael Haverans in the Mustang behind. So Charlie Hart's the leader by 6 seconds over these two. And of course, this is helping while they're squabbling. He's pulling away.
Yeah, comfortable at the moment for Charlie Hart. Not comfortable for Harry Reynolds here. You can see that Audi all over the back of them. This is what Charlie Robertson had, wasn't it, in the white Elite McLaren for the first stint. As they go side by side, it's a long way round here. And Harry Reynolds just eases him out, holds the position for now.
Does indeed, going up towards turn 9. Michael Haverans is fourth, Pedro Garcia is fifth, Lachlan Evanet is sixth, and then in seventh place is the Pro-Am leading Ravi Ramyi. But could we have our first McLaren win of the season? Because Charlie Hart's leading the way, and there, liquid pouring out of Daniel Nilsson's Porsche. That's all the coolant. And all we are being told about the NM Racing Team Mercedes parking is engine failure. That's as much as they're prepared to give away. They may not know anymore until they get the car back. Petit, in the meantime, all over the back of Reynolds. This is for second place. Up the inside he goes. Contact between them as Reynolds slithered back across the racetrack, but Petit has done it. He's gone by.
Yeah, nice move, and Haverans now is really in the mood as well. Reynolds looks back. It's not an overtaking spot historically here, and it isn't still, but that was close. I think that was his last chance to get back. And actually, I think he's going to lose a podium position here to the Mustang.
Yeah, because Michael Haverans is getting quicker and quicker. The grunt and go Mustang then makes a fabulous noise. And we often sort of dubbed these cars as being like tanks. Well, they're strong, but are they durable enough in the heat for an hour? Reynolds then in that McLaren. You talked early on about the McLarens looking for a bit of clear air, the same with the Astons. But so far, so good for the Aston Martins lower down, and very good for the McLarens up front.
Dives to the inside, more of a feint than a real move, but there was close to being contact, wasn't there? This is all playing to Havrans. I wonder, Harry with one eye, name-wise not on his face, is struggling to deal with cars in front, and the track limits there are going to be picked up by that yellow McLaren.
That contact between the two has been noted by race control, and certainly you can't say that Harry Reynolds isn't trying to get that place back, because he's all over the back of Paul Petit. This is turn 8. That a bit of smoke out of Havrans. I'm hoping that was just dust from the line, but yes, it did look like there was smoke out of the back of that 4th place car. Let's have another look here coming out of turn 10. That looks okay. I think it was just dust. I hope it was just dust. So we don't want any more dramas particularly, do we? Paul Petit up in a 2nd place. Now we'll see whether or not he's able to do anything about the race leading Charlie Hart, and indeed whether Havrans there can do much about Harry Reynolds for 3rd place overall. Harry is defending as best he can, and the Mustang here looking to try to find a gap. Can't do it up through 13.
Need some Jaws music, don't we? The size difference between these two cars, smallest and largest on the grid. Potential bit of contact there. The McLaren really struggling for grip now, it would seem. I think the switchback's going to be on, and the move should be done into turn 16. It
is indeed. Havrans goes through. Nicely done. So through he goes. And up to 3rd place goes the Mustang. But again, Harry Reynolds fights back. And the aero-friendly McLaren is going to be alongside here as they go down to turn 1 once again. But ultimately, Havrans has the inside line. But the inside for the next corner is Harry Reynolds is. And so he's going to get back. Is he into the 3rd place? Yes, he is. And Havrans has to back out of that. Good racing by Reynolds.
Really good, really clean. Super late on the brakes. That gave him the momentum. Look how much time they're losing. But Paul Petit, and there is still enough time where potentially the cars behind of Garcia in the Aston Martin and Everett in the Toyota could catch them here. So Havrans will be aware of that. He'll want to get this move done by the end of this lap and make his escape.
Here they come, down again towards turn 9. The Mustang charging along on the back of Harry Reynolds. The incident between Petit and Reynolds, no investigation necessary, says race control. So play on. And Havrans here still trying to find a way around the outside or the inside or over the top of that McLaren. Can't do it up at 9, can't do it at 10. Into the back, he says. Come on, Harry, hurry up. I want the switchback. You're in the way.
Yeah, Harry Reynolds there just stopping the car at the apex to stop the momentum. But this is where the Mustang looks like it's super strong. Is it going to be able to sweep round the outside? It's a hard move, but we've seen it done before.
All the power of the Mustang prevails. He's a little bit wide, but within track limits. So Havrans goes through, nicely done, exploiting the power where he can. So the Mustang gets up into 3rd place, and Harry Reynolds again on the attack straight away. But that time he's wide up the curb and nibbling at the back of the Mustang. His competitive spirit is undimmed, isn't it? Harry Reynolds again to the outside line, but no way through there.
A great gain, isn't it, against a Jack Russell? The dog doesn't know its size, and Harry Reynolds using the McLaren physically to try and move the Mustang. I think that might be in vain, and I feel now this isn't the same as the last lap. The Mustang's got the legs. This is going to be, I think, the final podium position order.
Down they go into turn 1. Mustang it is then, hanging on to position. So just under 11 minutes to go. Lots of curb being used by Harry Reynolds there to try to get somehow back onto terms with the Mustang. And again, he feints to the inside line. Havrans does have to cover that off, waiting for a part of the circuit where he can use the power. Look, they're both way up the curb on the inside of turn 4 and 5. Reynolds alongside. That's the outside line for 6. He's going to have to give it up. And now Michael Havrans comes onto that straight with 2 lengths advantage.
Yeah, it was actually too much curb at 5. He got up onto the grass. That gave it a snap of oversteer. Saw the brake lights come on the elite McLaren, and that was the momentum lost. And I think now Havrans, if he doesn't make a mistake at 8, goes in slightly deep, should be able to go. And again, the dust kicked up interestingly on the exit of 8. Havrans now just needs a steady turn 9, 10 here, and to get the Mustang onto the back straight to try and escape, finally, that yellow McLaren.
There are lots and lots of people being given track limit penalties, one of which is the Joachim Bolting Porsche that is currently 3rd in Pro-Am, but nothing I can see for the moment at any rate which is going to affect the race lead situation. Although Charlie Hart needs to be careful because he's on 4 track limit warnings in the lead of the race by 8 seconds now and 9.5 minutes to go. So looking good finally, it seems, for the Elite Motorsport team. Eddie Ives' squad, as we say, running single-seaters, GT4 cars, GT3 cars, and with 3 cars alone in this championship, it's a big task. Lots and lots of mechanics it has to call upon for different weekends and different skill sets, and overseeing it all, Eddie Ives has done a great job. Right, on board with the Maloney BMW here. This is the car currently 17th overall and 4th within Pro-Am. That's the Joachim Bolting Porsche ahead. Remember, this has got a time penalty for track limit abuses.
Yep, so that BMW just needs to be within 5 seconds of the Porsche, and at the moment, I would say we're 7/10 back. So attempting to overtake on track, but I would say the wiser move at the moment is just to shadow this Porsche and to claim that Pro-Am position. And Elite are going to win overall potentially, and Pro-Am as well, so it could be a really good day for the Elite McLarens.
Could indeed, as down into turn 1 goes Paolo Maloney, home circuit. You can see Bolting's Porsche taking different lines as the BMW tries to find some real estate, and there's going to be a gap on the inside here up towards turn 4. Paolo Maloney up the inside, brakes late, but Bolting cuts across the front and defends.
Surprised Maloney backed out of that one. That was his corner. Yes, Bolting came across, but you've got to use a bit more aggression than that for me. Paolo Maloney just got to send it down the inside. You've got the pace, did everything right, and then just didn't commit to braking late enough and allowed the Porsche to come across the front and close the door.
Maybe fearful of contact or fearful of a penalty. A little bit further down the order now. Look, Harry Reynolds is under more attack. This time it's Pedro Garcia who is taking Lachlan Everett with him. So Aston Martin, I should say, versus Toyota, and they're both on the back of that McLaren.
Yeah, we thought this might happen, and Harry Reynolds using lots of curb, starting to worry about the suspension life on that McLaren. The bigger the curb, the bigger the energy, and these cars do struggle with the big sausage curbs. We've seen cars fail this weekend already by hitting the curbs too hard, too often.
So Reynolds goes through 4th, Garcia 5th, Everett 6th, the Australian driver. And you could see Pedro Garcia there trying to tee up the move wide at 1, the inside for 2, but it didn't really work for him, so he's got to be mindful of not being in the wrong place. That would give Everett the chance to take 5th from him. 7 minutes to go now.
Yeah, they seem very even, these 3 cars, don't they? The McLaren, we know, the straight line is its biggest weakness, and the Aston doesn't seem to be able to do the move that the Mustang got. And like you said, the Supra at the moment is quite patient, just waiting for a mistake from either car in front. Is Garcia going to send it down the inside as they hit the brakes for turn 8?
Let's have a look. He's close to have a go. He commits. Late on the brakes, but a big send up the inside. He's going to go wide. Reynolds gets the switch back. He's going to challenge on the run up towards turn 9, that kick prior to turn 10, but it only puts the McLaren offline as far as Lachlan Everett is concerned, and Harry Reynolds is going to possibly lose a place to the Supra if he's not careful. So actually it's Garcia, because they both go wide, and Lachlan Everett up the inside in the Toyota now clears the McLaren, and he's going to have a go at the Aston.
Fascinating racing. Garcia for sure didn't want to be braking that late, and I think the Supra is going to send it down the inside. So 2 places in 2 corners for the Supra, and the opposite for Harry Reynolds. Garcia, it was a great move at 8. He then became obsessed with the McLaren at 10, was too concentrated on running him out wide, and the Supra just said, well, I'll take the racing line the optimal way around the corner and gain both places.
So there they are on the way towards 15, and Harry Reynolds, interesting stint this, because he's clearly a dogged driver. He loses a place. He desperately tries to fight back for a lap or so, but then the pace ebbs away. So you can't say it's not him being a feisty driver that's caused him to lose places, and you can't say that it's BOP on the McLaren, because you've got Charlie Hart 7 seconds to the good. So what is it that is preventing the pace of 77 from mirroring 78?
You sometimes just get it in a race where the car's not quite underneath you, you're a couple of tenths down, and then the flow goes against you, and it's really difficult to stem the tide as he gets back down the... Well, I think dogged is the perfect word to use for Harry Reynolds. I would not want to race against him. He's got no pace to get there, but he's always getting back past people. As we have a yellow flag at turn 2, car 68 by the looks of it has pulled over to one side. That's the team floral car of Mikkel Havren. So a podium car has dropped off the order. So we have had now 3 cars that were running in the top 3, it seemed like, expire.
Yeah, nobody seems to want to be on the podium in this race, do they? So yeah, drama then for the Mustang. That's the leader, Charlie Hart. And in second place it should be Paul Petit, and then Haverans was third, but Lachlan Everett will inherit that after that really feisty battle he was having with Pedro Garcia.
It was a good move, but it wasn't for a podium at the time, but now it's transpired that the Aussie of Aaron
there it
there,
is.
and it is just parked. Is that in a safe enough place to finish the race under green? I would say not.
That's where Ivanev's car in Papadopoulos, his hands parked. Is that wheel
Suspension.
pointing at the wrong angle? Look at the right front and look at the left front. They're not in unison, are they? So that looks like broken suspension.
And there's a big curb just in his background that you'll see the yellow ones there. Maybe he's clattered them and it's broken the front part of the suspension, but that's gutting, and the team won't be happy if that's the case. He was in an easy podium position. Your job is to nurse that car home. Of course, it could be something else, but if it were how it looks to me, then the team will not be happy with that.
And there coming into view, Harry Reynolds, who is still ahead of Pedro Garcia. You know one thing about Harry Reynolds, if ever you go out for the evening with him, he's going to get the last taxi at the rank, isn't he? Because he's not going to give anything up without a fight. There he is, staying ahead just of Pedro Garcia. But you've got to say, he has become one of the most spectacular drivers to watch, because you just know if he's in a battle, it's going to be a big battle.
And it's all clean, but it's not gentlemanly, and I mean that in the most positive way. That's why I wouldn't want to race against him, because he just sends it down the inside and just asks the question, well, if you turn in, we're both going to crash, and I'm already here, so you might as well just let me through. And how many times we've seen that in this race? 4 or 5 times. And like I said, he doesn't quite have the car underneath him, but his racecraft makes up for it.
But the impressive thing as well is that somebody gets past and straight away he's on the attack again, nibbling, trying to get here, trying to get there. And eventually, we've seen in a couple of cases, it has worked and he's got a place back. Maybe long term, maybe short term. But even if he's overtaken, he doesn't drop his head, he doesn't give up, he just keeps on fighting. Here's Garcia again, having a go on the outside, but Reynolds will do everything he can to try to run him out wide, which he does. Puts the car in the middle of the road. The defence that he's putting up is, again, very, very impressive.
Yeah, 2 more laps to go, and Garcia will be self-questioning, can he get that place back? For me, he's got 5 or 6 tenths of pace, because where the Supra's gone, he's completely disappeared, and Garcia was in front of that Supra, I would say, on merit, and it's only Harry Reynolds that's been holding him up, but he is so persistent with this strategy, and it's working for him. I can only liken it to when you sit on the plane next to someone that just wants to talk for 12 hours straight. He will not give up. He doesn't read the room. He's just going for it.
In a straight line, he hasn't got the pace, but he'll nibble coming through turn 2, and if he gets the curb at 3, he might be able to dive up the inside. Bear in mind as well, he's doing all of this having come from single-seater racing, which is a totally different sort of racecraft.
Where was the yellow flag out at turn 1? Was the Aston overtaking under yellow there? Potentially, we know the Mustang was there. It would have been close, and something race control may look at.
And Elite might well raise that as well. Here they come, nose to tail. And again, Reynolds shows his nose on the inside. We've got 1.5 minutes to go, so 1 more lap at the end of this.
Yeah, I just worry for Reynolds now that the gap has grown too much to be able to send one down the inside, and that might have to succumb to 5th place, which is still a very strong result, obviously, in such a strong field as European GT4, but yeah, how hard he's worked for it. I would have liked to have seen him a little bit higher up, and hopefully Elite can get him a bit faster, because Charlie Hart for sure has had quite an easy race in the sister car to get the race win at the moment.
Which will all be good for the family. His dad Chris used to race in British GT. Grandfather Stan was one of the early British truck racers around Europe. So Charlie Hart then, the driver from Lancashire, from Chorley, comes now through turn 16. The clock has just under 1 minute to go, so once more around the Misano circuit, and Elite will be on the radio saying, right, look after it, let's not go anywhere near a curb, let's not over-rev things. We had a lot of reliability dramas from other cars in this race. We don't need any. That is the surviving Audi from Speed Car second, 7 seconds back, Paul Petit, and then for third, Lachlan Everett in the Toyota Supra.
In the graveyard of the podium, the Mustang left of shot, and just to our right is the Ibanez Papadopoulos car as well, and back-marking Audi there, just starting to hold up our final podium position car. Probably the move of the race for me. He just swept around, didn't he, at turn 10, and he's having to wait behind the Audi until he gets the green flag, and that's why it was a little bit awkward. Reynolds still on the back of Garcia, so that job isn't finished just yet.
True enough, as the cars come towards us with a gain, Harry Reynolds trying to get up the inside. It's not really going to work, but what he's trying to do is rattle Garcia into making a mistake, because again they now make that run down towards the turn 8 left-hander at Quetchia. way up the curb, hoping then to be able to dive on a tighter line out of the corner and get the grunt up towards 9 is Reynolds, but he's not got a chance there. And in a straight line, the Aston will have the pace the other side of this long corner. So Harry Reynolds looks as though 5th is going to be his reward, but he's been the driver of the day for my money.
Yeah, he really has, hasn't he? And not too much damage on the front end of his car as well, so big respect for keeping it relatively clean. It's all relative in European GT4, but the driving standards have continued to rise, and Charlie Hart has risen to the occasion as well as he comes into the final corner.
Yeah, the relatives are the Maloneys and the Brunhagens, aren't they? The dad and lads. Right, checker flag at the ready. First win of the year for a McLaren. Charlie Hart, Mackenzie Cresswell win at Misano in GT4 European Series. Second goes the way of the Audi, Paul Petit and Greg Gilver. And third will be Lachlan Evanet, bringing home the Mies Houben started Toyota, a car that was on the 7th row of the grid. 14th it started, 3rd it finishes. 4th will go the way of Pedro Garcia, and 5th to Harry Reynolds, who didn't half push all the way through. This is the Pro-Am winner. It is going to be Ravi Ramyeed, along with the help of Charlie Robertson, who comes through for a class win, and that is going to be their first victory of the season in Pro-Am. And for our honours, it will be Daniel Blickler and Max Kronberg, well clear. So they'll be on their way up to the line shortly, but there'll be relief at Elite because it's been a tough start to the year. The McLarens haven't looked as good. We've had wins for Mercedes 3, BMW 2 and Toyota 1, all grunty front-engine cars. But for the aero-friendly McLaren to come through victorious, that shows the BOP here certainly helps them.
Yeah, for sure, as there is Blickler just taking the checkered flag and Charlie Hart on the cool-down lap. So the cool-down lap will be really a nice feeling for the driver, just to finally be able to breathe easy. And there was definitely a curse of the podium, wasn't it? I'm not sure I've seen a race like that where the attrition rate's so high at the sharp end of the grid.
Yeah, you've got to feel for Alex Papadopoulos. You've got to feel for Luke Ibanez as well, who did absolutely nothing wrong, but that car grinding to a halt when in the lead. So a 4th win of the year for AM's Max Kronberg and Daniel Blickler. A 1st for Ravi Ramyeed and Charlie Robertson, and a 1st for Charlie Hart and Mackenzie Cresswell outright. And there is Charlie going offline to get the pickup. So a job well done for the McLaren driver. So Elite Motorsport coming through after, as I say, a tough start to the season, but in the end, a race win, which will be a popular one. That's for certain. And there, Charlie Hart, to the applause of the fans, makes the run back towards the pit lane. A very different type of car winning. Like I say, you've had those big engine, front-engined BMWs or Mercedes or indeed the Supra, but something rather different here. Paul Petit celebrating 2nd place, along with Greg Gilver for Team Speed Car. And 3rd will go the way of Mies Houben and Lachlan Evanet. Paul Petit very pleased with that, despite the fact it was quite a big gap, nearly 7.5 seconds, but that'll do. It was a good result and it's good points.
Yeah, probably just a lot of relief, to be honest, to get to the end. Brake squeaking away on that Supra as it boxed there, so the brake wear relatively high in these conditions. Misano quite hard on brakes as well, so teams with a huge amount of work as well overnight to re-prep these cars ahead of the race tomorrow.
And there, the GT4 cars.
Should he be there?
In the paddock? Yeah, just pondering that. Unless he's been waved there deliberately for scrutineering purposes. No, I don't think he is, so he's being sent back to the pit lane. Is that a not following race director's instructions situation?
Unsure what he was instructed to do, but yeah, for sure, it should be in the pit lane, shouldn't it, alongside these other 2 podium cars, and that's why these guys got so much room to celebrate their 2nd place. Should be McLaren in between this Audi and the Supra next to the garages. Yeah,
it could have been that the car was waved in error, but anyway. Charlie Hart hopefully will return. The car under part fair May conditions. There's the Joachim Valder BMW arriving. That's your winning Pro-Am car. Charlie Robertson and Ravi Ramyeed. Charlie already with Ravi. So they've never raced here before, and they win their class for the first time this year. Great result.
Really good. Strong drive by both. Robertson really laid the foundations and Rami built the house, so it didn't need too much work doing. But as the AM, your job is super stressful. This isn't your environment you're used to. Ravi Ramid, one of these AMs that seems to have enough time and resource to do as much racing as he wants, and now the results are really coming through nicely.
And also, dare one say, helped by having somebody like Charlie Robertson, not just to drive with, but learn from. Let's get to the pit lane then and hear from our Pro-Am winners first up. Charlie Robertson and Ravi Ramid are with Nina Jade Paul.
First time racing here in Misano and first time class winners. Congratulations to the pair of you. Ravi, you look visibly exhausted, but just talk us through that stint.
Oh, to be fair, thanks to him, it was actually quite an easy stint. He did all the hard work for me. He gave me the car with a massive lead, and all I had to do was just sit down and just turn laps, and it was great. Still hot though.
Still hot. Your stint was very solid as well. You got to do it all over again tomorrow.
Yeah, it was a great stint, to be fair. I just settled in behind my two teammates, Yanni and Mackenzie. And we just had a game plan of just trying to lap as consistently as possible. I could see the cars behind getting smaller and smaller. And I knew my job was just to try and hand over to Ravi with the biggest lead we could and pray for no safety cars or anything like that to ruin it. So, mega race, really hot, really exhausting. So, yeah, amazing to get our first win. Elite Motorsport, amazing job. And our engineer, Ben, thanks to him as well. So, really happy.
And this has got to feel good. Just how satisfied is this feel?
Oh, absolutely. It's return to form. It feels fun.
Good. Well, congratulations, boys.
Thank you very much.
Ravi Ramid in the white overalls, Charlie Robertson, who did the opening stint. Tomorrow, of course, you switch it around. The driver that finished today will start tomorrow. There's Eddie Ives just arriving in the background. So that's the car that wins in Pro-Am. It looks like something's flapping underneath, but it's just the reflection as he goes over the painted curb. And for Ravi Ramid and Charlie Robertson then, late decision to switch to the McLaren and to switch to the elite team, and now it's starting to pay dividends. New circuits for them and a new environment in which to race, and a first victory of the season. And for elite, 2 victories, 1 overall and 1 in class, and Charlie Hart and Mackenzie Cresswell have now arrived where they need to be, and they've found their way to the pit lane, found their way to friends and family, and a very, very happy family it will be. So bravo, Charlie Hart has done it. And eventually a helmet will come off and we'll be able to hear from a very happy Charlie Hart. Another driver that came the Ginetta Junior route into British GT4, into European GT4. So many drivers of note have come out of the Ginetta Junior Series. And here's another one. Charlie, helmet off. Right, let's hear from Daniel Bickler and Max Kronberg quickly. They win AM to get back to the pit lane.
Well, to say you look hot, that is quite an understatement. Talk us through that final stint.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it is definitely quite hot, like doing a lot of sports in sauna. So, yeah, I'm quite happy that the race finished now. I mean, I think P19 overall, best AM, and as I have been told, best Porsche in the field. So, as an AM, I think we can be proud of us. Didn't went too bad, and let's hope for tomorrow. And yeah, Max did a great first stint, and I took over and tried to finish it. So yeah.
Absolutely good day at the office, and another class win. Yeah. How was this for you?
Yeah, this was very good because Misano is always a tough one for us. The Porsche, we always struggled with pace. We didn't have a good qualifying. It started from P35. So I'm really happy how the race went, that we survived the heat, that we also went on P1 in class. So really happy.
Well, congratulations. Go and cool down, boys. And throwing over to Bryn, who was with our overall winners.
Certainly am. You disappeared off for a while, but you decided to come back and start taking all the the cheers and everything from the fans around here. Both of you, what a race that was. Let's talk about the championship and what it does for you. It's kick-started it a little bit more. 2 seconds at Spa. You've gone one better here.
Yeah, we've had a good run of form recently. It's been definitely a long time coming, the win. We struggled a bit to start the year, so it's really nice to get this run of results, and hopefully we continue it at Zandvoort. Car was mega. Big thanks to McLaren and to Elite Motorsport. So yeah, couldn't be happier.
And Charlie, I mean, everyone says no one wants to win a race where those around them leading fall away, but I think you'll say you'll quite happily take that.
Yeah, of course, you've got to take the luck when it comes, but you've also got to be in the right position to prioritise on others' bad luck. So yeah, we definitely were at the sharp end, ready to pounce on them if that were to happen. And to be honest, the car was really, really good. I think we would have had the pace to catch the Audi and the Mercedes anyway, just about. So yeah, big thanks to McLaren. Car has been on rails all weekend, and every single person at Elite for making it.
All seems to have performed pretty well. You can go again tomorrow. Right now, go and celebrate and enjoy it.
Thank you.
There are our winners then, Mackenzie Cresswell and Charlie Hart. Bravo, excellent job done for them. And the McLaren coming home a comfortable race-winning car in the end, with plenty of squabbles going on behind. There's the AM winning car, or as Daniel Blickler was saying, an AM winner, but the AM Cup goes the way of Daniel Blickler and Max Kronberg. And that's a partnership that's worked very well together. Daniel Blickler behind the wheel in this super slow-mo coming into the final corner. And as he said, also the highest placed Porsche in the end, with quite a few of them having problems, but a good effort for Max Kronberg and Daniel Blickler, the AM winners. So the provisional result, a win for Mackenzie Cresswell and Charlie Hart, from Greg Gilbert and Paul Petit, Mies Houben and Lachlan Evan at third, Clement Seiler and Pedro Garcia fourth, ahead of Yanni, Stephen Hydens and Harry Reynolds fifth, sixth going the way of Lucas Cartel and Hudson Schwartz. The winning Pro-Ams were seventh, that's Charlie Robertson and Ravi Ramyid. They were ahead of Victor Boveng and Joachim Walder, and then the Maloney family, Davide and Dad Paolo, third in class. Max Kronberg and Daniel Blickler 19th overall, winning in AM. And second in the class, the Brunhagens, Christopher and Mikhail. They were the only other starters in the AM category. Quite a lot of retirements, as you see, including the Elon Gavai Porsche, including Sam Paley and Mikhail Havarantz's Mustang. We lost Sasha Botterman late race as well. So quite a lot for the teams to work on for tomorrow. We'll have our second GT4 European Series race to look forward to, and on the evidence of today, it's going to be another one full of drama. The GT4 teams will be out on track at just after 11:30 tomorrow. So the podium awaits, or podiums plural. Drivers making their way there as soon as far as the championship is concerned, the gap remains a large one between Cedric Fuchs and Enrico Ferderer's Mercedes and the BMW of the non-scoring Gabriele Piana and Thomas Rackel. Lucas Cartel and Hudson Schwartz are then in third, but it just seems that nobody can get the momentum to do anything about that Mercedes right now.
Yeah, it was strong, wasn't it? And yeah, where's this going to go? Even with a really pretty poor race for the 111, they just seemed to stay ahead of everyone as everyone else was tripping over their own feet, it seemed, this afternoon.
That's how the rest of that championship looks, based on the points after races here, Paul Ricard, Monza, and of course Spa. So there's the Silver Championship, there's also the Pro-Am and the AM, and as far as the drivers are concerned, respite from the heat now before they have to do it all over again tomorrow. And I wouldn't expect tomorrow's conditions to be any kinder to the drivers, that's for sure.
No, the forecast looks the same as today. We did have a storm roll through the area that missed us, so maybe that would help clear the humidity.
The first podium is for silver. There are Mies Houben and Lachlan Evanet that go to the top step. Then for second place, it will be Greg Gilbert and Paul Petit for Team Speedcar. The Audi drivers arrive on the podium. And the top step, a first win of the year for Elite Motorsport and for Charlie Hart and Mackenzie Cresswell. Victory in Misano for the young British duo. Eddie Ives from Elite Motorsport leads them out. Charlie Hart, Mackenzie Cresswell win race 1 in GT4 European Series. Drivers in position. Team rep, Eddie Ives in place, ready for the national anthem. So well done to our podium finishers, and the trophies brought forward. So Misano and Lachlan Everett first of all for their third place trophies, then Paul Petit and Greg Gilbert for second, and Greg Gilbert, Paul Petit really happy with that result. Paul's father used to be a pretty rapid French Formula 3, then Formula 3000 racer. And then Eddie Ives, for all of his team, guys and gals, gets the team's trophy, and then the winners' trophies for Charlie Hart and Mackenzie Cresswell. And then there's also the rookie trophy that goes to Mies Houben. So he takes that as the best rookie, and then photographs to be taken. Really good effort though, that by Elite, and although we're celebrating these drivers, still think Harry Reynolds deserves a big cheer for what he was able to do in the number 77 sister entry.
Yeah, the amount of overtakes when the pace wasn't below him was impressive. So if they can unlock a bit more, then that's another car that should be knocking on the door of a podium.
So the champagne awaits for the drivers. Photographer scuttle away, cowardly, and Paul Petit celebrates over the team. Eddie Ives thanks his drivers. So let's, with today's points added in, see that this brings Charlie Hart and Mackenzie Cresswell up to second now, jumping over Gabriele Piana and Thomas Rackel. Lucas Cartel and Hudson Schwartz fourth ahead of Gilbert and Petit, but still clear in the title race. Enrico Federer and Cedric Fuchs. Not a great day for them with that penalty, but they're still very much the drivers to beat in the championship. So one more race for GT4 Europe at Misano, of course, that's tomorrow afternoon. And a chance for one or two to try to claim back some points lost today. Misano is getting increasingly busy because there's the pit walk taking place in advance of the GT3 European Series race, and there's also a concert this evening as well to entertain everybody. This is how the Pro-Am Championship is. Joachim Walder and Victor Boving ahead of Charlie Robertson and Ravi Ramjeed, then Daniel Drexel and Chris Salkelt running in third from the Melones, then Beltramelli and Bottoman, Henrik Still and Joachim Bolting currently are sixth. You can see just how busy that pit lane has become all of a sudden. The break between racing before the GT3 race has been much reduced because of earlier delays, but the fans still being able to take advantage of the time that is available. Out onto the podium then now come the drivers for the Pro-Am podium, where the W&D squad of Davide and Paolo Meloni are third. Second are Victor Boving and Joachim Walder, and it's going to be Charlie Robertson and Ravi Ramjeed for the top step. Joachim Walder picks himself up after his one skirmish, but there is Ravi Ramjeed and Charlie Robertson for the top step, and again Elite Motorsport celebrate a race win. And once more it is the British national anthem for Elite. Well done, Ravi Ramjeed, Charlie Robertson then. They are victorious within Pro-Am, and they now will be receiving trophies in a moment. You can tell Eddie Ives has enjoyed today because he's gone to the podium twice. He's not going to let anybody else go and have a go. He wants the trophies, he wants the glory.
Yeah, he wants the taste of the champagne, and yeah, it's a lot of hard work put in by all, but the teams tend to share it around, don't they? The team principal normally would delegate it to someone they thought has gone above and beyond, and Ed Ives obviously thinks that's himself this weekend.
Eddie getting into the spirit of all of this for his drivers, so well done to them. And photographs will be taken. Temperatures starting to drop a little here. Light starting to drop as well, as we are at nearly 7:30 local time, with about half an hour before the GT3 race grid starts to form. While we wait for the final podium, let's look back at highlights of the GT4 European Series opening race that began with Luc Ibaniev taking the race lead, getting himself ahead of the Benjamin Lariche Audi as they wriggled their way through turns 1 and 2 and 3, with Yanni Stevenhuyden's yellow McLaren third and Mackenzie Cresswell in the orange elite McLaren in fourth. Behind, though, there was drama that removed Thomas Rackel from the race, and further drama saw Enrico Fodera cop a drive-through for turning around Vinny Beltramelli, who was lucky not to get wiped out by anybody else who arrived at much higher speed than him. There were plenty of good fights in the pack as well, as Alain Gabai battled with Davide Maloney. Jayden Kelly's McLaren was trying to get in on the act as well. A little bit of a brush as Matti Yildirim's BMW joined the party. When the pit stop cycled through, though, it was going to be the McLarens that switched over. And the other side of the pit stops, more mechanical woe. We lost Tim Horell's Porsche. That had a big smoky retirement. Daniel Nilsson turned into Joachim Waldrum, bounced towards the gravel trap. That was him done. And then ABS failure put from second place Robert Consony out of the race. Engine failure put the leader out of the race as well, Alex Papadopoulos. And that gave the lead to Charlie Hart, with another good battle putting Paul Petit up into second at the expense of Harry Reynolds, who then started to drop back, but never once did he give up the fight. It was push, push, push all the way. Great racing all through the hour in the GT4 European Series, and there is more to come tomorrow in GT4 European Series. Great action today, and let's see whether it's a McLaren double. But today, all about McLaren and Elite Motorsport, with a win for Charlie Hart and Mackenzie Cresswell. And we'll see you for more action tomorrow.